What's what it look like there?
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Off Camber TV's coverage of the Northwest Truck Series, sponsored by Walls Beard Co., Sarge's Place, Volt Vapes, The Hungry Dragon, Sasquatch Crossing, and Sim Stuff. Tonight, these drivers will take to the mile and a half here at the Kansas Speedway for the running of the City Vineyard 150. That's going to be 100 laps around this beautiful facility. Or not Kansas, Chicagoland, excuse me. Joining me tonight in the booth is Donovan Johns and Katie Reed. How are y'all guys doing tonight?
I've taken about 2 weeks off here, and I'm anxious to get back behind the microphone here and watch some Northwest Truck Series races. So looking forward to seeing what these 22 drivers can bring to the table and lay down some awesome fast laps, and hopefully have a nice, clean, fast race.
Yeah, I'm just as excited. I am really interested in this race and specifically qualifying right now. Half the field has not put down a qualifying effort. They still have about 5 minutes to go, so plenty of time now. But they're all within about half a second of each other during practice, so it's gonna get really exciting here at the beginning and see what kind of speeds they can put down.
But last week, Sean Brightsman, I'm just full of flubs tonight, notched his third win on the season at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Going to put him solidly in fifth place in the race for the chase. We only have 3 races, including tonight, before the cutoff. You have him, Brian Barnes, right behind him by 1 point. Then you have Jeff Stabnow, 2 points out from Brian Barnes. Ryan Main sitting on the bubble, 11 points ahead, or 11 points behind Jeff Stabnow. And then you have Gary LaViolette 5 points out from there. Behind him, 10th place Chad Barker is about 46 markers out. So he's not really going to be a factor unless a couple of these guys miss a couple of races here. And speaking of which, Brian Barnes is not in the building right now. That number 4 truck not in the server at this time.
That's right. It looks like our 6th place and 7th place runners, who are also first and second in the rookie standings, separated by 2 whole points. Jeff Stabnow is going to have a huge advantage on Brian Barnes after this race if Barnes maintains being a no-show.
Yeah, and even to pick up on that, last week Brian also missed that race as well, and he fell 2 spots down to 6th place in the points. If he keeps this trend going, he is going to be out of here by the time the chase comes, and that is not what he wants, especially if he's going to continue running the series. So we wish him the best of luck. He's going to have to get back here soon if he wants to stay that high up in points, though.
Because you have other guys, Carl Burke, John Ottenbacher, they're chomping at the bit, as well as Chad Barker and LaViolette, to get above that 8th place cutoff in the next 3 weeks. Got about 2.5 minutes left of qualifying here. You have camera on Andy Williams, number 67 Hungry Dragon Barbecue Sauce Machine, putting down his fast lap. It's going to put him 6th on the board at a 29.763. Right now, the pole, though, is Wayne Hutchinson with a 29.670. Right behind him, 0.02 of a second off, is Mark Walls, our overall wins leader, second in points. So 1 and 2 in the points, or 1 and 2 in the qualifying right now.
And looking at these times so far, Stabnow with Chad Barker and Walls, Stabnow, and Chad Barker are all 8/1000ths of a second off of each other.
That's extremely impressive. Like I said, they were within about half a second on practice. Now they're all within 0.3 of a second during qualifying. So as if it weren't close enough, they decided to make it even more exciting here at qualifying. And I'm still keeping an eye on Andrew Williams. He got a little close to the wall there, but his qualifying effort should be done by now. Brightsman is on the track right now. He did not put down a practicing effort. That's not surprising. He never does, but he always ends up jumping up. And as he crosses the line here, let's see what kind of time he can put down, and into 5th he goes. Again, not surprising at all. We don't know how he does it as he blows an engine there. Never practices, but always gets a good qualifying effort.
Yeah, and that puts the top 5 within 3/1000ths of a second, or 3/100ths of a second of each other. So, and all of those are Dog Bear. Dog Bear Racing showing their dominance yet again here in the Northwest Truck Series. First non-Dog Bear would be in 7th place with that 67 of Andrew Williams.
Yeah, I wouldn't count him out, not at all. We know Andrew in this series as a very aggressive driver, and that's exactly how we like it. He's a great competitor for the Dog Bear Racing team, who I think it's clear to say is the powerhouse of this league, but we do have some competitors that can really get on their heels, and that is starting with Andrew Williams here tonight.
Yeah, looking through the weather right now, we have it's partly cloudy. Air temperature is about 70, high 70s, maybe up in the low 80s. Track temp is sitting right around current 104 degrees. That's going to make things real slick on top of a track that is known to eat some tires. So we're going to have to see a lot of tire management happening tonight, a lot of patience on the throttle. Don't spin those tires too much as they're accelerating out of corners, and don't cook their equipment. Person who does that best, which we all have seen, Mark Walls do incredibly well. Wayne Hutchinson has done well. Chad Barker not known to do that well. Sean Brightsman not known to do that well. Andrew Williams known to be pretty successful at that. Should make for some really interesting plays as this race goes on.
Gonna let a couple more of these drivers grid up, and then we'll run down your starting grid for the City Vineyard 150 here tonight. Here we go. We got Wayne Hutchinson on the pole. Then you have Mark Walls sitting P2 to his outside. Jeff Stabnow in the 24 truck right behind them in 3rd. And Chad Barker rolling off in 4th. Rounding out your top 5 is going to be Sean Brightsman, last week's winner. Gary LaViolette coming off the grid in 6th. You have Andrew Williams at 7th, Ryan Maines 8th, John Ottenbacher in 9th, and D. Palmer's rolling off in 10th. 11th goes to D. Palmer, or 11th goes to Carl Burke. Excuse me, I am just Andy Vogt in 12th, Nathan Little 13th, Brett Johnson in 14th, Marcus Tracy 15th, Nick Kuhn in 16th, 17th, Nicholas Bishop, Trenton Barrington in 18th, Drew Lalonde taking the first provisional in 19th, 20th is Scott Hutchinson, and Dan Stussy is going to round out our field. The 509 of Josh Berriman decided to call it quits before it even began.
Yes, actually, Josh Berryman will not be making the start, and neither will Scott Hutchinson. Scott is also going to miss the start of this race, and that's a little surprising. He actually practiced with the fifth fastest lap, so I'm shocked that he's actually not going to race. He does tend to miss some races every now and then after practicing, but he's clearly fast here, and that's kind of surprising. I hate to see that, but either way, we're going to have 20 trucks here starting tonight, and that's a very good field, and I don't see a lot of incidents happening, especially if they can get off cleanly.
As the field rolling down the backstretch, coming into turn 3 under command of the pace car, we're getting ready to go green flag racing at the Chicagoland Speedway here. Rolling off of turn number 4 for the first time tonight. Pace car is going to head down to the pit lane. Wayne Hutchinson has command of the field, waiting on the green flag. And it's in the air. We're underway here for the City Vineyard 150.
That was an impressive start by almost everybody on the field there, all the way back through the 67 of Andrew Williams. Got a great jump. Ottenbacher and Ryan Maines seemed to just misread what was going on in front of them and are falling back, as well as D. Palmer not having a great start there. Carl Burke getting underneath it, while up front, 29 truck of Mark Walls is making a dive under Wayne Hutchinson in the 1 truck.
Yeah, Walls takes over that top spot commandingly. 68 got into the wall back there a little bit as well. LaViolette falling back like a rock. But Mark Walls is going to lead the first lap here. Now the one's under fire from the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. A little side-by-side back in the field. The 17 of Ryan Maines getting around the 089 of John Ottenbacher as they start to work their way off of turn number 2.
A log of first lap leads there for the race sponsor, City Vineyard. Winery up in Billings, Montana, jumped on board with the Northwest Truck Series, sponsoring a race and getting their name out there.
Ooh, almost 3 wide on the front stretch. Bryce was thinking about it. trying to shoot the middle underneath the one, going to back out there. These are all teammates up here racing, though. Here comes Andrew Williams underneath the 46, that 67 yellow and green Chevrolet, making a good charge down the back straight.
Alice Motorsports Hungry Dragon entry right there, making his way, driving up underneath the one truck as well. He is going to try and get himself all the way into third place.
Yeah, Williams is powering through here. He had a great start. These Dog Bear Racing drivers are starting to have a little issue with the 67. He is running right up through the field. He's going to make his way to the second position right now. Qualified 7th, so a great start by him. Has gained 5 spots already.
Now, how much of that do you think is tire management from the one truck? He's definitely got a fast hot rod out here tonight in that Toyota, but he's shown that he's slowed up his pace just a little bit.
46 going to the outside of the 18. Chad Barker making a move here. Oh, slipped up a little bit there. Almost got into the 46 there. The 17, Ryan Main's going to choose the top lane here. Ooh, 18
Ooh.
making it close. Gotta be careful in the
Chad
backstretch
rolled
there.
up just a hair and almost got into the 17. That Wild Mind Toyota looks fantastic. New paint scheme he's got rolling on there.
Yeah, pretty much up front, we have single file racing. This is the first side-by-side battle back here. Barker under fire from the 17, going to try to make the outside work as the 46 did. Maines looks like he's going to make it stick, and it's going to take over that 6th spot completely from Chad Barker.
And look at the 089 of Ottenbacher. Now he's driving up on underneath thinking of walls of the 18. The 18's making a really great job of showing us what it looks like to go backwards.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Chad Barker qualified 4th, so he's actually going backwards pretty fast here. The 089, pretty much the opposite. He qualified in 9th and has moved all the way up to 7th now, trying to make this pass as easy as possible, but it's just not happening with Chad on the outside.
Chad is definitely not a guy who likes to give up positions easily, so this is definitely, he's going to be fighting to keep those spots, and he's hating life right now.
Yeah, Andy Vogt at number 10, Sasquatch Crossing machine, trying to put a nose under there. Not going to be able to do it on the front stretch as they're driving through on the apron very
It's
early
really
on.
Sorry, really good to see Andy Vogt back. He actually missed last weekend, and that's really heartbreaking because he's a really good driver and tends to compete with the Dog Bear Racing guys as long as his teammate isn't there as well, because they tend to race each other really aggressively. But glad to see the 10 back on track here.
The 10 and 17, since they've partnered up at the beginning of this year, they've really shown amazing amount of muscle. However, they've also seemed to find each other fairly often.
Ooh,
Battle for
67.
second. Yeah, 67 underneath the 24 here. Stab now under fire from Williams. Williams drag racing him down the back straight. Going to have the advantage of the inside lane heading off into turn 3. Looks like he's going to take over that 2nd spot.
Owen Hutchins getting the door slammed on him by Stab now.
Guys are just trying to take it easy right now, one by one, passing each other. You don't want to go too crazy here. As I say that, the 10 has to go high for Carl Burke, making his way through on the bottom here. 10 trying to hold that middle lane. 18 going to get a challenge from the 7 of Brett Johnson behind him. And we've got 2 by 2 down the front stretch here. They're going to have to pick a lane soon because you cannot pass. You really can't go 3 wide here. It's just not going to work.
Now Johnson's slipping underneath the 18. Yeah, something's wrong with that Walls Beard Co. Toyota back here in the 18. He's just falling back like a rock. Brett Johnson making his return to the series as well, knocking actually into the top 10 right now, trying to fight the 10 of Andy Vogt.
Oh my gosh, 089. Ottenbacher just had an amazing run on the back of the 46, almost nailed him, came around, and now they're battling side by side coming through the corners.
Yeah, a lot of battling heating up around the 5th position. Ottenbacher looks like he has a position from the 46. You got the 1 and the 17 going toe-to-toe right now, working their ways through 1 and 2. 17's got a good run. He's going to put the nose in there, and he's going to race him down the backstretch. He's getting a good run on that high side coming off of 2. Just the high side coming off of Ford does not seem to be working as well as they're coming up on a slower Jeff Stab now. Almost going to make it 3 wide. Ooh, don't do that, boys.
Look at Ottenbacher just coming up on the back of these guys. He is driving with the man on a mission.
Ooh, they touch.
A little bit of fender love, and that just makes that door. Oh, they're coming back together. Oh, they're not done yet.
Yep, 3 wide.
3 wide.
That'll do it. And the 089 is going to monopolize as best he can. Take that cuddle truck right around.
He's out on a mission right now. He is moving up through the field. Again, qualified 9th. Has found his way up to 6th position. The 1 now, not going to lose just 1, but possibly 3 spots here. The 53 of Carl Burke also making a little charge here. Qualified outside the top 10. Has almost broken himself into the top 5, trying to make his way through the field. The 10 of Andy Vogt following him through. Got to be careful there, as the 10 doesn't want to push up like he's doing right now. Oh my goodness, got to hang on there.
Here comes Thomas the Trank engine. They're all going by.
Yeah, it looks like that's the second Dog Bear truck to go from the front to the back here. Don't know if they missed something on the setup, on the race setup, or what happened, but you know, Wayne Hutchinson was our pole sitter. He's all the way back into, where did he go? Oh, in 9th.
Yeah, a couple of drivers actually. The one of Wayne Hutchinson you just mentioned qualified 1st, back to 9th. We have Sean Breitzman qualified 5th down to 10th. Chad Barker 4th to 11th, and a big loser on the restart there was Gary Laviolette, qualified 6th and is all the way back to 15th.
Yeah, and right in front of him, his teammate D. Palmer, as I see the 18 just kissed the wall there for a slight second. Chad Barker sitting back in 11th, going to get passed by the 19 of Nick Kuhn on the outside. Going to make it look pretty easy there as the 18 was underpowered going into turn number 1.
Looks like the 7 is going to go on the inside of the 10 here. The 10 almost brushed the wall there on the high side going into turn 4, and that is very dangerous territory because if you get up in those marbles, it will grab you into that wall, and that is not what you want here. The 10's going to get a little bit of a run on the front stretch across the line. We've now completed 17 laps so far.
And up here, Ryan Maines just took over the 3rd spot from Jeff Stab. Now we have, he's loose. Ottenbacher's into him. 089 and 17 loose on the backstretch. 17's coming back into the track. He takes out the 1.
Yeah, the 1's engine is gone.
Oh, that is upsetting.
Maines is going to take a tow back to the pits. I believe Wayne Hutchinson is going to make it back around. Or he might not. He might want to employ a teammate to help push him down pit road here. As our first caution of the night flies for the 17 getting loose in the middle of 1 and 2. Just I might have hit a seam in the middle there and lost it. 089 got some damage in that. John Ottenbacher making a good run tonight. He's still sitting in 5th, but a lot of right side damage. Now they do have 1 fast repair to use that'll make the truck brand new. So it's pretty early in the race for a lot of these guys to use it. Be looking out for the 089 and the one in the 17 have to use it. And here they come down pit road.
Yeah, and while this is happening, the 1's actually cruising. He's only going 20 miles per hour in the middle of pit lane. Watch out for that. He's almost a victim of his own success right now. He qualified 1st. He is in the last pit stall on pit lane.
That might hold up a lot of guys here because a lot of the front runners' pits are right here as well. There he goes. Now, when you go into their pit stall like that, you ghost out. So 29.
Just able to make it.
Yeah, 29 a little short and to the right on his pit stop. That's going to cost him the lead, possibly.
Comes the 18, 68 into their pit stalls. As the
67's already on the ground, yep. And he's going to take the lead from Mark Wells on pit lane.
And the 1 comes out in 4th. Carl Burke in 3rd. 24 is going to come out in 5th.
Well, the 1 will be a lap down. We know that because he already lost a lap as these guys were coming down pit lane. So luckily for him, he does use that fast repair, obviously. So he will be in the lucky dog position once we get back to green here. But I can, with 100% confidence, say that Mark Walls lost that lead on pit lane due to the fact that his teammate was, I don't want to say cruising, he was strolling into his box there. It was a very slow pace, and the 29 wasn't sure if he was going to bump the 1. and didn't want to be overzealous and end up wrecking into him and hurting his car. So he ended up slowing down, and the one made it to his box, but man, the 29 lost a lot of time there.
Start, finish.
Now that
And-
Andrew Williams is out front, what are you thinking there, Dono?
Man, it's Andrew Williams was keeping pace with Mark Walls, so I think Mark is going to start this race on the outside. A little bit of an angry foot. He's going to try to get that spot back and get into the open air and do what he does best, which is open up some gap and to just set a pace for himself.
Tell me I'm supposed to pass you there, one.
And what about Carl Burke here in the 53? Again, I highlight him because he always tends to jump up after the first pit stop there. Qualified 11th, is now up to 3rd, and he did take 2 tires. I can confirm that, which is shocking, seeing as he loves the 2-tire change.
He was already making his way towards the front. I believe the lights are off the pace car. We're lined up 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through the field. Once again, pace cars got the field working through turns 3 and 4 here. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. The 67 Hungry Dragon Barbecue Chevrolet of Andrew Williams is going to have control of the field. Pace car is off. And he's gone. Green flag back into the air here at Chicagoland.
The beautiful start by him. He got everyone checked up there just in time. The 29 going to go side by side with the 53 already.
Great start. 53 is going to slide up just a little bit coming off the turn. Mark Walls is going to take advantage of that in that 29 City Vineyard Chevrolet. Still working that outside lane on Carl Burke, but Burke is fighting back, pushing up a little bit.
Yeah, Burke is just not giving him much room. 29 comes all the way down almost into the bumper of the 53. Crossing the line, Burke has the advantage.
I believe he is completely clear there. Brightsman all the way back up into 4th position, right behind the 10 and the 24 battling side by side.
And the 24 needs to have a clean night here because he can really make up a lot of points, specifically in the Rookie of the Year standings, but also in the current standings, just the driver standings here, because, again, Brian Barnes is not in this race.
While we're looking at that, the 29 made a clean, easy pass past the 53. Take back, 2nd spot. 46 now leaning heavily onto the 53 of Carl Burke, looking to pick up the 3rd spot.
The 10 and 24 still fighting back there. 24 is going to give up the spot. Going to become victim to the 7, Brett Johnson, on the inside of him right now, working down the backstretch. And Chad Barker back up into the top 10 as well.
Yeah, that caution came at a great time for Dog Bear Racing. Apparently, the 67, not quite sure what happened there. Lost a lot of time off of 4. The 29 coming with a head of steam right now. The 53, though, still falling victim to the 46. Can he stay out front? We'll have to keep an eye on that. The 83 of Marcus Tracy having a lot of issues right now. His name just dropped off the leaderboard there for a moment and lost so many positions. Now battling the 31 of Drew Lalonde for 13th.
Haven't really mentioned a lot of these guys back here, but we do have a battle for the lead brewing. Mark Walls on the back bumper of the 67 heading off into 1. He's a little bit faster than the 67 right now off corner exit. That time, though, pretty even as they're working down into turn number 3. Walls still trying to get there. Burke has pulled a little advantage over the 46 of Brightsman. But here goes Walls to the inside.
He's just going to be able to get there before turn 1. And it does seem the 67, if he is clear, is able to have a clean turn 2. As you see it here, he's a little bit better in turn 2, but Mark Walls clearly makes the gain off turn 4. So we'll have to see if he uses that to his advantage come soon, because the 53 is making his way back up to 2nd.
Carl Burke had the best exit coming out of 4 there, and he closed that gap up to the 29, shaved off 2 truck lengths, although he's dropping back now. Again, Mark Walsh showing the strength out of 4. But these guys it's fun to see who's strong, when, where, why, and how as 53 falls back into the grips of the 46.
Yeah, a lot of single file racing right now. Looking back here, you do have the 1 underneath the, I believe that's the 83, going to pass him. When the 1 is a lap down. But Dan Stussey's not. Stussey underneath Marcus Tracy right now, rolling off into 3.
Real quick, I just noticed who's sitting in the top 10 tonight for the first time, I think, really I've seen in a long time. Number 2, Trent Barrington in the Eric truck there. Eric
Alec.
Motors. Alec Motors is a dealership which I believe he co-owns or works at here in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, that Atlas Finishers Chevrolet, the Atlas Finisher crew has been showing some dominance, alongside of Dogberry. They have the leader right now, and then you go back, Trenton Barrington's the next one in that group, and I don't see Fletcher or who's the other guy? There's one more guy with Atlas Finishers that's not here tonight as well.
Yeah, a couple of guys
Right.
missing that we normally are able
Well,
to see in this
Ottenbacher
race.
is normally Atlas.
That is true.
Running
He's
the
got
Cuddle
the
Paint
Cuddle
scheme
Paint
tonight.
scheme.
He always is better in the Cuddle Paint scheme. I'm just calling that one out here real
Yeah, I
quick.
think you're playing favorites at this point.
Not at all, but I hear if you want to try some Cuddle e-liquid on your own, go to voltapes.com and select Cuddle.
Thank you so much for that input, but I do want to cover one more thing about Trenton Barrington. This is very, very good sign for him because he has only gotten one top 10 on the season, and that was at Kansas. So he really tends to like these 1.5 racetracks when he can manage to stay clean, doing a great job so far. And so is Nick Kuhn right in front of him.
And so what you're saying is he heard me flub the intro, so he's like, "Oh man, we're back in Kansas."
Yeah, quite possibly. Maybe. It's all about those mental games. Also want to mention right in front of him, I just spoke of his name. Nick Kuhn also has been struggling. His highest finish is 11th. So Nick Kuhn in 9th position right now, trying to claim his first top 10 of the season.
Yeah, here we go. Battle for the lead. Mark Wall is going to lead this lap. Actually going to take over the top spot with an extremely good run coming off of turn 4. I don't know what happened to Brightsman. Brightsman's falling way back, but new leader out here, 29, Mark Walls.
Yeah, Brightsman is really starting to catch hell right now because the 7 is on the bottom, making a pass rather cleanly if he can get into the corner here and get him cleared up off. The 10, though, trying to pass him as well, and it's almost as if he's got the Martinsville train going on. Going to lose quite a few positions as he, almost hits the wall there. Has to drift all the way to the top, and you are right. Something is definitely wrong with that truck.
Just seems underpowered. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got the qualifying tape off. Dan
Stussey having a lot of issues right now. Oh, don't push up too much. He was actually losing a lot of positions there for a moment. Had a very big run off of 4 and just could not hang on to it. And the 83 going to come back now on the high side. The 78 almost as if he's just getting out of the way at this point. This is for 13th position right now up in front of him. Nathan Little, haven't mentioned him much this race, up on the high side, outside of the one of Wayne Hutchinson, which again, he is down a lap. So he just needs to keep it clean and he will receive the lucky dog if we get a yellow.
Yeah, he doesn't have anybody to battle on the same lap, so I mean, he can just run his race, run how he wants, and be fine as long as he doesn't get into any trouble. But yeah, this is pretty much besides the battle for the lead. Oh, the 53's around on the front stretch. Carl Burke into grass. He's got it saved. Going to bring it back onto the racing surface. That's not what you want to do in front of the 7. Johnson had to make some evasive maneuvers. Wow.
Yeah, great job by the 7 of Brett Johnson. I'm sure he caught him off guard a little bit, but the 53 of Carl Burke, we know he did not want to lose any more positions, but he kind of took that a little to the extreme there, kind of moved all the way to the high side up on the track, and of course the 7 and 10 had to dodge because of it.
Ooh,
but
the
hey,
10. Oh, and he vote into the wall on the front stretch. He still got it pointing forward, but heavy right side damage. Turn 4 is turning into a madhouse.
We've got a good amount of laps here on this stint. We're looking at about 17 laps or so. These guys' tires are suffering badly. And this is where that heat and that tire wear comes into account. You can see if you can zoom into the windows here, these guys are battling the tires. They're making adjustments in corner. Things are going to get interesting.
Kind of shakes up the top 5 there. Brett Johnson all the way up to 3rd. He's by his lonesome about 2.5 seconds off of the lead. Carl Burke still running in 4th. And Sean Brightsman under fire from the 24th. Jeff Stabnow. Stabnow had a run on the inside. Brightsman uses that momentum of the high side and gets around him as they work into turn number 3. And Trenton Barrington working his way through the top 10 as well.
Got a little bit of the apron there. Got to be careful. This is one of those tracks where you cannot afford to hit that apron because it will send you right up to the wall if you hit it the wrong way. And the 46 losing a little bit of time out of turn 4. He's been shaking quite a bit there. The 2 going to dive it into the corner. And I do mean dive as he's hoping to clear up the 24 off of turn 2. The 24 trying to hold it up top. The 19 trying to take advantage of that position just the same.
No caution for that?
Ooh, 24 out of whack a little bit.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
He has
Oh,
somebody.
it seems the 42. Yeah, the 42 got completely sideways there. No caution. Oh my goodness, the 13 of Nicholas Bishop cleaned his clock. My goodness, and the caution comes out for Nicholas Bishop, who just stopped on the track there.
He was off the racing surface. I don't know what, you never know what that racing's doing anymore.
Yeah, either way, Wayne Hutchinson luckily will get that, lucky dog and able to put himself back in the lead lap. And again, his car, he's got a clean truck right now. So if he can get back up into even the top 10, he can be extremely competitive.
And just close to halfway. We got about 10 laps when they come down to pit lane before halfway. But we've pretty much seen what everybody's got. A lot of people in the first run falling victim and going back towards the back of the pack. And a lot of people from the back are making their way towards the front. I mean, most impressive right now has got to be the 7 and the 2 right now as pit stops are underway. Mark Walls leading the charge down the pit lane. Doesn't have the distraction of the 1 rolling through his pit boxes. So going to be a clean, easy stop for our leaders here. 67's hitting his marks. He's in to the attention of his crew. 29 got the right side jacked up on that City Vineyards machine.
I watch these guys come down pit lane. Finish these stops.
Go.
29 is out. 67, 7, 53. Looking for the 5th place. Looks like the 2's just going to beat the 24. That's going to be close. Yeah, the 2 definitely got it there.
2 definitely did. Trenton Barrington back into the top 5. Just good run from him. Real quick, we're going to take a commercial break. But we will see y'all after we pay some bills.
Thank you.
And welcome back to the City Vineyards 150 here on OCTV. We would like to give a quick shout out to the race sponsor, City Vineyard. You can go check them out at cityvineyardwine.com, or you can check them out at facebook.com/City Vineyard Wine. All one word there. Up there in Billings, Montana. Got over 2,000 different wines you can select from. They even sell you cheeses and accessories and even have some craft beer on hand. So if you are in the Billings, Montana area, go check them out. Again, that's cityvineyardwine.com.
Why did you have to say craft beer? Now O'Donnell's going to be distracted
Right?
the entire rest of the race.
Only 9 hours from me. I'm going to load up the car and drive my happy ass out there.
All right, we're going to go back to green here soon, Wes. What are you expecting here? You think Wall's going to get a good jump?
Oh, he always does. Walls is a restart king here in the Northwest Truck Series. I'm going to be keeping my eye on that 7 and seeing if he can go toe-to-toe with the 67. And also keep my eye on that 2. I mean, I'm just impressed by both of those drivers.
Trenton Barrington just driving his heart out tonight. Thoroughly impressed with what he's capable of doing as the pace car pulls off.
Yeah, green flag back in the air again. Walls gets a good jump, and so does the 7. 7's going to have a nose in there on the 67 of Andrew Williams. Brett Johnson trying to make his way up into the second position. Unfortunately, the 67 is going to have the high line advantage once he can get that thing wound up. Actually, Johnson might clear him.
Yeah, he is clear right now. He's going to get up there and block him. That's one person you don't want to block when it comes to racing closely here, because the 67 will get you back there. As he's trying to stay to the high side, the 7 moving on up.
There it is.
That's a little too close for comfort there. The 67 going to bring it up on the high side. Try and compete for second because they don't want Mark Walls getting out there.
Not even that. Right behind him, that's just a wad. I mean, Barrington, Barker, Stab now. They were pretty much 4 wide with Carl Burke there coming off turn 4.
Yeah, 18 of Chad Barker and that M&M's Walls Beard Company machine had a amazing run coming out of 4 and just got on the bumper of the 2 truck, bundled everybody up in a hurry, while the 67 right in front of those guys dive bombing underneath the 7, gonna make that pass stick coming into 1 and 2.
It looks like the 67 is going to clear him up off. I do want to mention out back here, it was 2 by 2 for a moment there. The 17 being followed by his teammate in the 10, Andy Vogt, up on the high side, outside of the 1 of Wayne Hutchinson, trying to make a good recovery here after he went down a lap.
Yeah, and I just have to say as well, where did the 31 come from? He's all the way up into the 8th position. He was right on Barker's back bumper coming out of 4 last time around, and he was flying.
Yeah, Drew Lalonde was looking at him earlier because I love that old Tide paint scheme that you're using with Sim Sports. He's been running around 17th, 18th, 19th this whole entire race.
Yeah, he actually qualified 19th. Didn't even attempt a qualifying effort. Practiced 16th, so this is even more impressive.
Whoa.
Up into 8th, and in front of him, he's got to keep his eyes wide right now because the 24 is going to the high side, getting passed by the 18 of Chad Barker.
Chad Barker on the binders to keep from running over the 24 truck and Stab. Now that is some dog bear on dog bear action going on, while the 19 truck is all of a sudden throwing his heat into the 31.
Yeah, and look out back behind him, D. Palmer trying to make a good run on this race. He qualified 10th, is in the 10th position, trying to gain those spots back after losing some early on, but this 24 still competing to the outside of the 18.
Yeah, he's holding strong out there, but Stabnow is going to surrender that 6th position over to the 18. Not going to do it without a fight, but he's got the 31 to think about as well, going to his inside right now as they head off into 1. Ooh, that's close.
Oh, man, the 24 avoided the 31, and it's coming down almost at the 19.
Yeah, really well done by the 19 to take a look and see what's happening with the 24. Got loose there a little bit. 31 almost pushed up into him, was able to catch that truck, but they are too wide out back. They're trying to go side by side here. The 19 with a good run. The 24's got, almost. They almost touched there. And again, lucky for them, out of bounds is not that white line.
Yeah, I mean, 2 by 2, 3 rows deep just about. Here comes that 20. Oh, Nick Kuhn comes up in front of, can't tell who that is. Maines, actually. Maines, couple laps down, trying to get a lap back to Hardway. Got his teammate underneath him right now in that 10 of Andy Vogt. But D. Palmer looks like he's going to try to get around that 17 as well. Now, 17 is a couple laps down, so he's going to have to watch himself.
Yeah, as we watch this battle, I just want to mention really quickly as they get very close up on the high side that 17 trying to hang on. Out front, Mark Wallace has stretched his lead to about a second, but Andrew Williams is not necessarily pulling away from Brett Johnson.
No. We just hit halfway last time around. Wall's going to come down to complete lap 51 out of the scheduled 100. So instead of counting up, we're counting down now. We have 49 to go. 48, 49.
Yeah, this track almost
40-ish.
reminds me of Michigan at this point. A lot of these drivers putting down some very quick times, and we haven't had a lot of cautions compared to some of the tracks we've been at. The 78 competing with the one right now up on the bottom side. And Stussy trying to dive into the corner, going to make a clean pass there. The 83 going to follow him through. Look at the run the 83 has. Marcus Tracy trying to hold it down there. I think he's going to go mow the grass for a little bit.
Yeah, some of those guys do find speed hitting all the way down to that yellow line on the apron. Good for some, not so good for others. 83 definitely did not take advantage.
And Marcus Tracy has competed a couple times. Hasn't done a full season here in this truck series yet, so we're going to keep a close eye on him.
Yeah, word on the street, he's an honorary dog bear, so...
More like
Yeah,
a
this
puppy
is
cup.
actually his
Puppy
fifth
cup.
race on the season, and he has gotten 2 top 10s, so doing pretty good for his percentage.
I mean, you could throw a blanket over 6th through 11th just about. Well, Maines is not included because he's not on the lead lap, but look at Vogt trying to go to the outside of the 19, going to get a little loose. Here comes the 24 underneath the 18 coming off of turn 4. Stab now, trying to make it stick down there, taking a really awkward line into 1. Gonna have to slow up a lot. Barker's gonna have the advantage and the momentum on the high side.
Yeah,
Not
watching as they go
enough.
2 by 2.
Yeah, I just want to also point out real quick here that Andrew Williams in the 67 and Brett Johnson in the 7 have shaved off 0.4 of a second to Mark Walls in the last 2.5-ish laps.
Ooh, look at that cluster right there, though. The 10, 19, and I mean the 17, you know. Oh, 10 squeezes in front of Nick Kuhn right there.
Yeah, luckily Nick was able to keep that position there because that was almost a nightmare for him and possibly even the 17 who's now competing with him. And again, this is not for position. The 17 is 2 laps down right now, but he is the lucky dog recipient currently if he can stay in that position if a caution were to come out. But he's got to be careful here because he cannot be involved with that yellow if it were to happen.
Even just a little touch of the wall will negate that lucky dog. But I mean, even behind them, we got another cluster back here with Breitzman, Palmer, Tracy, and the 1 of Wayne Hutchinson. I mean, it's another 5-car battle, just like we were just looking at.
Yeah, the
Palmer.
46 had to pit for damage a couple of times under that last caution as they go 3 wide for a moment. 089 trying to make his way through the field here. John Odenbacher in that cuddle machine. Qualified 9th is all the way back to 16th.
I don't know which one I want to watch more, this one or the one in front of him. Oh, we got contact with 18, 19, 18 in the wall, 10's around. Oh, 18's
19's
around as
involved.
well.
No caution yet.
10 into the
Wow.
inside retaining wall. Barker's going to back it into the inside wall. He bounced off the outside coming off of 2.
Right now, the 19 though is up on the track, and the 23, 1, 46, and 089 are all trying to stop from hitting him, and they are 4 wide.
46 the high side, 1 in the middle, 19 on the bottom.
Oh,
Ooh,
Odenbacher into
089
the
gives
one.
the 1 a shot to the back bumper. Can they hold it still? They do for a moment. The 19 again
Look
was
at
involved in that
83.
incident. Look at the 83 on the bottom.
He's
The
like,
real
legal
life
this.
it's legal.
That is a good move. Look at that. He's going to stick it.
Just because it's
He
legal
pulls it
doesn't mean
off.
it's right. Oh my goodness. The 83
No.
scooting up a little bit. Be careful, that 089
Good
had
Lord,
a
stop
run.
it.
He is to the outside of the 1 right now.
As Donovan's having a heart attack up there.
I know. I'm like, this is a bad decision.
Yes.
The 19 gonna flip one to the back of the 68. Gary Levi those involved. The 42 is down a lap. 18 of Chad Barker's on pit lane down a lap. The 10 of Andy Vogt is also on pit lane. All these drivers going one lap down as we look up to the front leaders, and I think the 29 has a new visitor.
Yeah, Andrew Williams closed the gap down to about 4 or 5 truck lengths coming off of turn number 2 there. Brett Johnson has faded. He's about a second and a half off of this battle. But, yeah, Andrew Williams coming back, showing some gusto. He's got definitely a good long run truck, and he is showing it right now.
Yeah, a short while ago, the 29 made it a lap onto the 42 of Nathan Little, and through that, 67 caught up, and the 7 got kind of hung out to dry behind the 42, and they were able to spread out that gap, and 67 did wind up behind the 29, and it's kind of where they're at now.
Yeah, Williams lost a little bit of time coming off of turn number 2. I believe the 10 is done for the night.
He is actually pitting out. I believe what you heard over the radio.
Okay.
Instead of I'm out is pitting out right now. Very dangerous. Gotta wait to go up on the track. You see him. He is on the backstretch right now. It's 29 of Mark Walls coming out of turn 2 onto the backstretch. He will catch up to Andy Vogt with a full head of steam here, as Andy Vogt is now 3 laps down.
And still got a pretty big, well, not exactly a cluster anymore. It's kind of dissipated out. But the 23 back here with the 89 still battling. That's D. Palmer and Ottenbacher in the top 10. Palmer a little slow. Ottenbacher making a high side stick really well. And have a good run coming off of turn number 4. But to no avail, the 23 driving on that inside lane is going to clear him for right
53
quick.
in the wall.
Oh, into the
53 of Carl Burke.
31 hard and up. Oh, almost on his lid. Came back down on all 4.
Oh, buddy. There we go. Everybody else made it around so far. Carl Burke going to whip it back around and not
The
exactly
31 is destroyed. Drew Lalonde was having such a good race there.
And turn 2 and turn 4 have proved to be a bad mistress here tonight. A lot of people losing off at 4, and a lot of people losing it in the middle of turn 2. So Burke, another victim there in that 53 Atlas machine. But pits are open.
You're right. With the green flag runs we've been having, this could very well be the last caution of the night, the last pit stop of the night, because they can make it from here.
The question is, would they want to?
Negative.
Those tires can be killer, and I think that's
Right?
what you're referring to. But yes, honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if someone tried to make it on gas.
Carl Burke, what?
Yeah, well, Carl Burke is completely destroyed right now, so he needs to come down to the pit lane, which he's doing. Luckily, he was able to stay on the lead lap here, so he's pitting with the leaders, so he'll be all the way to the back. He should use his faster pair here. I don't believe he's used it so far. We'll see as he's just now pulling into the pits, and he gets a fresh car. And that's exactly what he loves to see. So, yeah, I could see someone like Carl Burke staying out, absolutely. As off of pit lane, look who is in the 3rd position.
Trenton
Right?
Barrington.
Where the hell did Trenton Barrington come from?
Well, technically 18th. That's where he
There you
qualified.
go.
But you're right. He is normally a mid-pack kind of guy. If he can miss as many wrecks as he's had this season.
Right?
But doing a great job tonight. Extremely good job right now. If he could just hang on, he will obviously get his best finish of the season.
You
Go ahead.
see a couple of trucks in front of our leader right now. That's the 10 of Andy Vogt and the 18 of Chad Barker. They're going to try and get a wave around and hope for another caution. I believe Lalonde still sitting on pit road. It's going to go 2 laps down right now. It's going to leave Barker and, going to leave Barker the lone lap down machine.
Yeah, and Chad Barker, this is extremely important for him because A reminder, only our top 8 drivers will make it into the chase, and because of that, right now, Chad Barker is seated 10th, 10th in points, and he desperately needs to get a lot of points right now. But again, Brian Barnes is not in this race, and I cannot stress this enough. It is extremely gonna hurt him so bad when he decides to come back to the series, if he decides to come back within the next 2 weeks before the chase, because right now he is losing so many points.
Yeah, I believe they do use the NASCAR scoring system for the truck series. So, like your winner, whoever finishes first, gets 36 points plus, bonus points for leading laps and et cetera, et cetera. So he's losing a whole race, a whole 36 points at least. That's going to definitely drop him out of the top 8, but not too far out to where he can't recover and try to make that ground up with
No,
2
you're right. He can
races.
still make it. He can absolutely make it after missing last week at the road course, and of course now this week. He can still make it, but he's gonna have to get to it immediately because he needs to gain those points back. As it looks like Chad Barker and Andy Vogt in the 10 are gonna make their way around and get the wave around here.
I'm going to re-rack the situation up 2 by 2. Mark Walls, your leader. Andrew Williams going to start to his outside. Trenton Barrington rolling in third. You got Brett Johnson on his outside in fourth. And Jeff Stabnow back into the top 5 in that 24. I believe he has City Vineyards on his truck as well tonight.
Yeah, and as we go to green here, I just want to give you guys a very quick race summary. Our current leader is Mark Waltz. He has led 55 laps so far in this race. We've completed 67 of the scheduled 100. We've had 2 lead changes, 3 cautions for 11 laps.
All right. Pace car's got him rolling through turn number 4. Going to dive down to the safety of the pit lane here. Walls will have control of the field, and he's gone. Green flag back into the air for the City Vineyard 150.
Yeah, and Trent Barrington almost had the perfect start, but he just questioned it by a millisecond. Oh, as he goes down low on the 7 trying to pass him up on the high side. The 2 almost had a perfect start, but just could not get there, as the 46 is being challenged by the 24 on the low side. Jeff Stabnow trying to make the most of this restart.
Yeah, Stabnow restarted in the 5th position, was stuck on the low lane. Initially had Brightsman to his outside, as we see
the 83
Johnson.
is slow. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
He is absolutely slow here. I am surprised nobody hit him. Going almost 140 out of turn 4 when everyone else is going 180.
And still, Barrington just about hooked the 7 there. That was very, very close. I don't think you could have fit a sheet of paper in between the bumpers of those trucks.
And these guys are leveling themselves out pretty quickly here, but Barrington, he is driving like a man who's got some power underneath him, and he's wanting to get up there.
It's almost as if he's with a new team. A new team, he's got a new lease on life.
I think pairing up with the Atlas Finishers guys here has definitely helped mature his driving style. Got some good quality setups underneath him, so this is exciting watching Trenton grow and race.
Gary Levi led 3 wide, 53 Carlberg coming up through the middle. Excuse me, moving through. My goodness, look at that head of steam. Split the 42 and 19 down the backstretch.
And we do have a battle for the lead brewing again. Half a truck length off is the 67 Andrew Williams, looking to try and see if he can force a mistake out of that 29, which is not easy to do. Gonna have a good run off the turn number 2, heading off into 3s, trying to dip down low. Walls are gonna block that attack and gonna continue to lead here.
Yeah, there is no doubt in my mind that the 67 probably has a little bit better short run truck, as he normally does. And the 29, again, we mentioned earlier on in the race, he is very good at conserving his tires, and especially if they go green from here, that's going to come in handy, especially if other people towards the back, as we mentioned, Carl Burke might make a fuel run at the end of this race.
Well, I think they can make it. It's just whether or not we have another yellow come out.
Yeah, they can make it on fuel 100%. I actually jumped up into the radio and talked to Andy Vogt in the 10 truck under caution, and he mentioned it was about 50 to 55 laps on fuel, but there is no way, and he said no way they were going to make it on fuel before they had to stop for tires, because tires are so critical here.
Yeah, I would. If 15 laps go by, I would be begging for some tires.
Yeah, but remember, with 5 to go, the next flag ends it in this
That's true.
this league. So
But
very well in iRacing in general. Unfortunately, we don't have access to the lucky. Ooh, green white checkered as the 24 into the wall, going to lose a spot to the 46 of Sean Brightsman. 24 though still losing a lot of time, and again Jeff needs to take advantage of Brian Barnes missing this race. Has to keep it clean for the rest. It's 23 on the outside of the 1.
Yeah, Hutchison dives it down there into turn number 3, going to take that position away as the 089's almost into the rear bumper of the 23. 23 going to try to go up a little bit.
Look at the
Try to
53
deter
of
him.
Carl Burke though. All the way down to the bottom, almost going to make it 3 wide for a moment as he dives into the corner. Has to pull out of that. There was no way he was going to survive a hit to the 23 of Dee Palmer, and luckily for him, able to catch that truck, but now he's being challenged on the outside by the 42 of Nathan Little.
25 to go, 24 as we hit the stripe. So it is now go time, folks. You got to get what you can get.
Absolutely. The 67, though, still on the bumper of the 29. He is just not giving up, which, again, is characteristic of the 67 of Andrew Williams. He will try his hardest to get that top spot if he can. Is not keen to wreck anyone, but who knows? Who knows at this point? He is in the chase pretty much right now, and so is the 29. And the 29 has a lot of bonus points, whereas the 67, unfortunately, has not gotten himself a win this season.
oh, Drew Lalonde on with turn 3 and 4 here blowed up.
Oh, yeah, he's very slow on the inside, trying to make it back to pit lane. Dusted for mosquitoes. He's going to make it.
The
Really
Chicagoland
unfortunate, too.
mosquito abatement program going on.
Yeah, because he was
Yes.
coming up through the field there for a moment, but it just could not finish the race. Unfortunately, got taken out by that spin from the 53 of Carl Burke, who is, of course, now recovered and is in 11th.
Looks like that's going to do it for the 31 on the night. No fast repair left. So where did Brett Johnson come from now? He's resurged back
Right?
up to under 0.5 of a second off the lead.
The 67 are equal distance from each other and equal distance to the 29. No one's gaining, no one's falling back. They are just doing some laps and kind of feeling each other out.
Yeah, I'm looking through some of the standings right now. Some of the finishes on this season, and I'm extremely interested in Brett Johnson's season because he's only run 6 races. This is, of course, his 7th on the season, and he's finished in the top 10 exactly half of those races, but his highest finish is 4th. So if he could just hold on to this 3rd or even get higher, he will get his best finish of the season. So Brett Johnson really in it to win it at this point, trying to make his way all the way up to Mark Walls, who is getting some good challenges here at the end.
Yeah, we've seen it time and time again, though. Walls, have a good battle there at the end. 67's actually been the culprit as he got kind of wide there coming out of 2. But so far, the 29's prevailed every single time that these two are battling at the end. And Brett Johnson, I mean, if he has anything to say about it, he's going to be out there fighting with them.
Yeah, and I want to cover the 67 of Andrew Williams a little bit. As we know this season, if you've watched any other race we've covered so far this year, you'll notice that the 67 is very familiar to the top spots, especially the podium. He has finished half of his races, exactly half of his races. 7 of the 14 he's competed in so far have been in the top 3 spots. So he is very familiar with this site, but again, has not been able to take that win. He's finished 2nd twice, but just can't quite get there.
So you're comparing him to being this league's Kyle Larson.
No.
Where is his break going to come?
Yeah, I would something like that. Something like that. You're right. It's almost got a little Mark Martin type of run where he's just so close all the time, but just can't quite get there. And much like Mark Martin, he's a great guy. So we hope he can get there at some point. Maybe it's not as tonight, but he's gonna have to get back up there. He's still losing a little bit of time to Mark Walls right now.
Oh, big slide from the 089 coming off of the turn.
Oh,
He had
fighting,
to avoid.
he's fighting it.
Yeah, he had to avoid Breitzman, who pushed up the track very hard, had to get out of the gas, and Ottenbacher had nowhere to go and had it loose and got down on the apron. Thankfully, he's collected it back up and got it going back again. Stabnow, the benefactor out of that, got around both of them, but they were about to start battling with the two of Trenton Barrington sitting here in fourth.
Yeah, Ottenbacher having a good race so far. Just got to keep that truck under him. Got to keep it under him, though. Qualified 9th up to 6th right now. But I am just so impressed by the two of Trenton Barrington right now as he goes up high. Doesn't get the best drive off the corner there. The 24 will catch him into turn 4 as they go around. But again, qualified 18th. This is very clearly his best run this season. If he can just hang on there.
Yes, 78 Dan Stussy blown up onto the pit lane. I was noticing smoke coming out to turn 1, but or turn 2, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
We've got so many trucks catching up right now. The 2 is holding up quite a few cars here. 24 to the outside. This is Jeff Stabnow trying to gain that 4th position back. The 089, 46, 42, and on down the line trying to compete with the 2 on the low side here. The 089 trying to come up through the field into the top 5.
Is it just me, or am I just sitting here like rooting on for Trenton to pull this off and get a top 5 at it? 089 hard in the wall. 53 Carlberg hitting the yellow line, trying to get around all this mess.
He's gone.
There he goes.
Oh no! He hits the 6. How did he do that?
Oh, the 78 was coming out of pit lane. It was just a bad break.
It was like he came off with the apron and you heard target acquired, and he.
You're right.
Missile lock on.
He went to transition back up onto the track from the apron, and you are absolutely right. You see his truck turn, and he just square hit the 78. Dan Sushi did not call his pit exit from what I could hear. And oh my goodness.
Man, I just can't stop watching that replay.
I mean, that was one of the most oddest things I've seen on iRacing. It was perfect. He was rolling, getting up to speed, and just wham.
No, you're right. That was as strange as it can get. But hey, we're going to be treated to an excellent finish here. 13 laps to go right now. They will clearly come into the pits here. There is no way you should stay out on those old tires. Bring it on in. Everyone will pit. Will someone try to, Carlberg? Will we have anyone stay out and risk it? We'll have to see here. The leaders clearly come down pit lane. Yes, okay. Mark Wolf just playing some games at this point.
Yeah, I am all for pit lane at this point.
I believe 17 has hung up his virtual helmet here. Ryan Maines out of the race. But now this is the money stop. I don't think anybody's going to come back down after this. So make sure you hit your marks. I mean, Mark was really slow getting into his stall.
Yeah, everyone coming down, and while they are in pit lane, want to point out the 18 of Chad Barker is our lucky dog winner.
Here comes the 7, 60. Here it goes. 29, 67, 7, 24, 089, 53. That was really close between the 089 and the 53 coming off of the pit lane there.
Yeah, Sean Breitzman in 7th, Nathan Little in 8th, D. Palmer in 9th, and the top 10 closes out with the 1 of Wayne Hutchinson. Impressive stops by these guys. But again, Mark Walls, like I said earlier, I really think that Andrew Williams can get him. I think he has a fast enough car for the end of this race, although Mark, again, does save his tires rather well. I don't think it'll matter here. You'll have under 10 laps to go when we get the green.
Yeah, 67 is not going to have enough time if the 29 gets a good jump as he normally does, slowing up the field here for...
Yeah, I believe it's some lap down cars, trucks pitting right now.
That's right.
Of Andy Vogt and the 13 of Nicholas Bishop, who has that beautiful paint scheme on his truck tonight.
Making sure he doesn't catch a black flag here in the closing laps of the race. Next time around, it'll be 10 to go. We'll probably get a green flag with 9 to go. So, as we get, as always do, when we get to closing the race down. I'm pretty sure Katie's already picked her horse in the 67, but who do you got, Dono?
Oh, geez, I was really pulling for Trenton there for a minute. So at this point here, I'm going to go with, for realistic stakes, with a chance, I'll go with Brett. He's got the speed. He's made a couple little mistakes here and there, but he's able to catch up to Williams and Walls. I think Williams and Walls are going to run each other hard. I think Johnson's going to have an availability to make that pass.
Unfortunately, unless he gets moved out of the way, I have to take the 29 on this one.
I'll have you know, I wasn't going to pick Williams. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to pick Williams.
Yeah, I know.
How could you not? He is
Right?
probably the most exciting driver in this series, minus the target acquiring of Trent Barrington. But my goodness, I'm just impressed by the 67 and what he's able to do. And again, Mr. Consistency, can he finally break through? Will this be the race? We're going to find out in just one lap because they are going to get lined up to go this time.
I mean, it's been great racing across the board. I mean, you've got battles all over the track. Everybody's giving each other, a decent amount of room. I'm not going to say plenty of room, but,
A little
and,
bit. A fair amount. How about we go with that? A fair amount.
There you go. Yes. And, I mean, we've seen some, unfamiliar faces towards the front of the field. So, all in all, I think it's been a pretty fantastic race.
Yeah, I'd back that up. Absolutely. Got a couple of disappointed drivers in the back, not having the greatest race. But, I mean, again, in reverse, a couple of drivers we're not necessarily used to seeing up at the front all the time. It's good to see them into the race. And again, I kind of want to second the Brett Johnson pick as well, because it would also be his first win, and he's only competed in 6 races so far. So this would be an impressive win for him if he could break through.
Yes, it would. Here we go for hopefully the final time of the night. Pace cars got the field rolling off of turn number 4. Be ready for that 29 to jet. And he's gone. Green flag back into the air for the City Vineyard 150, the closing laps here.
Yeah, beautiful start by Brett Johnson there. Was able to get clear already of the 67. Andrew Williams going to lose that spot. Back behind him, side by side, 53 Carlberg outside of the 089. Going to get cleared, though. John Onbacher taking that spot into 5th. And our top 6, it looks like, all clear right now. 42, Nathan Lowe going to go side by side with the 46 of Sean Breitzman.
Now, he came out of left field as well, running in the back most of the race. But look at this 67 dives to the inside. Here on the front stretch, he's got to get around it quick. Mark Walls is loving watching this in his rear view right now. 67 is going to get clear. 24 almost into the 7. Going to check up the 089 as well. Ottenbacher and Stebnow, that's pretty much their chance right there. But here comes Andrew Williams.
Yeah, the one thing they don't want to see is a caution right now. They want to keep it green, try and get Mark Walls under green right now, because if a caution were to come out, they would go back to green, but only with a few laps left, and that's not what they want. They want to spend that time getting up to his bumper and racing him for the win here, and the 67 is coming.
A good run from the 67.
That's impressive. He is on Mark, and he is not letting him get away.
Now, if he gets up there, does he move him?
Shit, yeah.
Oh, man, the 67, I'm telling you, I think he wants that win. I think he finally is ready for that win. He's ready to compete for it. Diving down the 29, though, is going to squeeze that door closed shut. Off the corner they go. I do think the 67 is better out of 2, 29 better out of 4. So we're going to see if that 67 can make that pass on the track here. The 29 will not let him by easily.
And he's going to be running out of time. He needs to put these 4 tires to work. Stab down the wall behind him. They're going to keep it going, though. 5 to go as they hit the stripe.
Yeah, next one ends it. Next flag ends it here. This is why the 67 needs to go down.
Oh, good run from the 67, sticking the bottom. Oh, he turns him! He turns him!
Oh my goodness, the leader has been turned. The 29 trying to catch that truck. Andrew Williams will be your winner.
And
Could
that
you
is
ask
how
for
you
anything more when
end
it
a
comes to
race.
excitement in this series?
Yeah, 67 is going to come and try to catch the pace car back here. I'm pretty sure the hauler is going to be a popular area after this race.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send some cameras down to pit lane, but I'm watching this replay here. The 67 had a beautiful run off the corner, as he normally does. I mentioned it multiple times throughout the night. The 67 is clearly better off a 2, and I want to say it wasn't his fault, but it absolutely 100% was his fault. The 67 just too good off a turn 2, got into the back of the 29, who did not have a good turn, and
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, Walls hit the apron there, got a little loose, and I mean he had it saved, but I mean that was all Williams there.
Yeah, could the 67 have backed off? Absolutely. But with the 29 getting loose there with hitting the apron, things just worked out perfectly for that bumper to those bumpers to hit each other. But hey,
I mean,
Brett Johnson gonna get his best finish of the season, and look at Carl Burke getting him another podium.
I mean, it's just like you said earlier in the broadcast. I mean, Andrew Williams has been a bridesmaid most of this year, so good to see him actually get a win. Not exactly the circumstances I'm sure that he wanted to win it under, but a W's a W.
Oh yeah, he'll take it. Absolutely, 100% he'll take it. No argument about that. And again, this was a hell of a race. They still have to finish now. Don't go pull a Mark Martin and come down pit lane too soon. That is not what he wants.
No.
I mean, we're looking at, if you're looking at Williams, this is going to be his second win in the Northwest Truck Series, and he's been one of them guys that he comes out here week in, week out, put the Hungry Dragon barbecue sauce Chevrolet into victory lane if he can come back around 2 more times under caution. You can check the Hungry Dragon out on Facebook at the Hungry Dragon Sauces, facebook.com// the Hungry Dragon Sauces on the Facebook page. Some pretty good stuff, I'll tell you that much.
Good win, Andrew.
But who said green was bad on a race car?
Right? I think it's
No.
great luck.
For him, it's pretty good luck tonight. Although a lot of skill involved in there, wasn't just luck, and he will claim that just as well, which is obviously his right. And again, half of the races he's run this season have been on the podium, just not able to break through. But finally he does. He will get this win here if he can just go a few more laps under caution here. Should be no problem at all. The 7 of Brett Johnson again will cruise to a great finish in second, and Mark Walls right at this moment will finish 14th.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Carl Burke rebounded back to 3rd. Ottenbacher back up into 4th, and Nathan Little, let me check on him. This is going to be his second top 5 of the season.
Yeah, Nathan Little finished, and I compared the tracks earlier tonight. Nathan Little got his first top 5 at Michigan. So he tends to like these style tracks, and he's going to get, again, his second top 5. That is his best finish on the season, is 5th. So doing a great job to hang in there. Really well done by Nathan Little, and back behind him, Sean Brightsman. We're used to seeing him a little further up in the field, but I think after the troubles he's had tonight, he will welcome the sight of a 6th place finish.
Just going to let the pace car bring the field around one last time. We are under the white flag, rolling around at a brisk 65 mile an hour.
Yeah, this is some screaming paces here.
Oh, yes. Fast as we've seen him all night.
Let me tell you. And funny enough, he is at this blistering pace. Andy Williams still having a great turn too. Just a beautiful job by him. And again, I cannot say enough how good this is to see. someone try so hard and be so determined, finally break through and get that win. And this gets very interesting because we have 2 races left until the chase starts. That's 2 races before your finishes have 100% meaning here. So will Mark Walsh get some retaliation? We don't know.
All right, here it is. Checkered flag in the air for the 67. Andrew Wims, your winner here in the City Vineyard 150.
That was a blast, all of us. That was a fun race.
I'm going to bring it back around.
Yes, it was.
And let's see if he can remember how to do some burnouts. It's been since September of last year since he's won a race in this league. So let's see if he remembers how to dunk a donut or two.
Hey, Carl, you need to check up the speed. Yeah, go ahead. What's got Benny?
All right, here he is on the front stretch, ladies and gentlemen, race fans all across the interwebs. There he goes. Yeah, you don't forget that feeling. Bring it back onto the pavement so we can get a little smoke show. Ooh, he's gonna fail post-race inspection.
He's had enough fun being on pit lane at the end of these races. Let him have his fun.
It is all right. We're gonna give it another couple moments. Gonna give you your unofficial results for the City Vineyard 150 here at Chicagoland. And Andrew Williams, your winner here tonight. Can't say enough about the guy. Can't wait to get him in the booth here after after we finish this. Brett Johnson coming home in a nice, hard-fought second place. Carl Burke in third. John Ottenbacher is going to come home in fourth, and Nathan Little is going to round out your top 5. Then you have Sean Breitzman in sixth. D. Palmer fighting back from early trouble is going to come back home in seventh. Eighth goes to Jeff Stabnow, Chad Barker in ninth, and Wayne Hutchinson rounding out your top 10. Then you have Nick Kuhn finishing 11th, Marcus Tracy in 12th, Gary LaViolette 13th, 14th goes to Mark Walls, Trenton Barrington 15th, 16th is Andy Vogt, Nicholas Bishop 17th, 18th was Dan Stussy, Ryan Maines, and Drew Lalonde are going to round out your unofficial field.
And as you finish the results there, we're going to bring in a few drivers for post-race interviews here. And while Carl Burke is making his way to the booth, we're going to actually pull in our second place finisher first, Brett Johnson on the season. He is in the number 7 truck, able to bring it on home in second. Brett, you got us?
Yeah, how are you?
Fantastic. Well, we're great. How are you? I mean, that was a great race. But you qualified 14th and were able to make your way all the way up through the field, able to avoid all the wrecks that happened to finish second. Talk us through the night.
Yeah, I blew up on the qualifying, so I didn't go well there. And then managed to get up quick enough to miss the wreck. So a lot of fun. Good race.
Yeah, that looked like some pretty interesting racing here. The last half of the race or so, you were sitting in the top 5, top 3, had a couple of really good runs. Were you working on saving tires? Were you just driving the hell out of it? What were you doing there those last those bits with Williams and with Walls there?
Well, I was just trying to keep up. I was driving it for all it had there, but I was falling off pretty quick. 15, 20 laps in, I'd start to lose them. So. But yeah, I was going hard, just trying to stay ahead of the rest of them. So,
Well, Brett, you've made a fantastic addition to the Northwest Truck Series. We've loved watching you run and watching you get up into the front there. So, man, congratulations! My hat's off to you. You drove like a bat out of hell for a while there. Almost, you got a podium out of it.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Great group of guys to race with. Hats off to everybody. It's been a lot of fun.
All right. Well, who do you got first time up in the booth here? Who do you got to give some shout outs to?
Well, the City Vineyard, the sponsor tonight, and then all the other Walls Beard Co., Volt Vapes, Sim Stuff, Hungry Dragon, and Sarge's Place and you guys at OCTV. You guys do a great job. Enjoy the broadcast.
Thank you, man. We sure do appreciate it.
Fantastic. Well, again, in the number 7 truck, Brett Johnson bringing it home in second. And I believe we finally have Carl Burke, who ended up third on the night. We're going to pull him in. Carl, you got us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Fantastic. Well, walk us through your night. You had an interesting one. Qualified 11th, made it up to third, but about a good 2/3 through that race, you had a bad wreck there. Got caught up with the 31 of Drew Lalonde, but were able to stay on the lead lap, get that quick repair, and hey, got a top 3. So, well, tell us about that.
Yeah, I had a couple exciting moments there. Late in the runs, I was overheating my right rear tire. I couldn't never get it right. I kept changing my tire pressures, but I was fighting it the whole race. And so I had 2 real big moments that put me back. And pretty much just had to drive hard towards the end there. And I don't know what happened between Andrew and Mark, but Mark likes to run people close when they're racing for the win. So I don't know exactly what happened, but that was too bad for Mark. If it holds up, good win for our guys. Our team, Atlas, is I think we were first, third, and fourth, I believe.
Yeah, man, you guys, Atlas Finishers is coming on strong. You guys as an organization. Trenton Barrington had a phenomenal run tonight. We were all rooting for him up here in the booth.
Yeah, it was a good. Yeah, he was on my tail there quite a bit of the run, and I was glad that he didn't push me too hard because he was really he was with me there for a lot of the race.
Yeah, you guys did great. Carl, it was fantastic watching you run again. Wish you could have had just a little bit better there, but you got a top 3 out of it.
Yeah, it was surprisingly good considering where I could have been. You know, the way things went there. I about ate it twice, and I did wreck that one time. So yeah, it's a very good night for this Atlas team.
All right, and who do you got to give some shout outs to?
Just the team guys. Glad to see we're starting to put a dent in Dog Bear, and I want to say hi to Cindy if she's listening. The way we did it, we got a top 3. That's good.
Great job, man. Well, hey, we'll see you next week, and you guys have a great night.
All right, thank you, man.
Again, a shout out to Carl Burke. Great guy. Always love talking to him. And this is actually the 4th time this season we've talked to him. His best finish is 3rd. So tied that tonight as well. So great job by him. We'll see what he can do on to New Hampshire next week. But before we get there, we've got to get to our winner, a very familiar gentleman in the booth this season. But finally being interviewed last is the 67 of Andrew Williams.
Yeah, I got you, Katie, man. Finally got that Hungry Dragon barbecue sauce truck to the front, to the finish.
Woohoo!
First
Green
place, man.
machine
Pretty
up
exciting.
front.
That's what we're talking about. Well, walk us through it because that last restart there, you didn't get the best one. Brett Johnson had your number there for a moment, but I mean, you came back with a head of steam and you did not let Mark go from there.
Yeah, our team Atlas Finishers, man, we worked on a setup, and I had a real good setup that I shared with the team, and man, she was smoking, and in fact, she would get a little loose in practice, so I tightened her up. But on that last restart, man, 10 to go, it was like 10 laps flat-footed, and that's what I could do in practice for like 10, 15 laps. And that's what my teammates used. So we came in first, third, and fourth. So great job for Atlas Finishers and the Hungry Dragon. So, but yeah, I don't know. I know that I could get the mark on what was that, turns 1 and 2, and you know, well, 3 to go, 2 to go, whatever it was. I know if he got away from me, there was no way I was going to get by him. So I was just flat-footing it, trying to get below him there, and it just seemed like net code. It probably wasn't, but he was there, and all of a sudden he jocked to the side, and that was it. I lifted. I almost lost it myself. I got all squirrely. I thought I was going to lose it, but luckily I hung on to her. But yeah, great job, and man, finally OCTV here at first place. Great.
Well, man, tell you what, the whole night we were commenting on how you were keeping pace with Mark Walls and every bit his equal, especially out of 2, you were better. Out of 4, he had the run. It was back and forth the entire race. Team-wise, did you guys have a strategy coming in here? Did you have a special setup, or was it just pedal to the metal and pray for God?
Well, like I said, these 1.5 miles, actually from the interview last week, it was like I knew I had a damn good setup for a mile and a half Chicago, and that's what we've been using at Vegas, Michigan. Of course, I should have won Michigan, but I got scroogled out of that one when a certain person cut me off in the grass, and he ended up winning. So, in a way, it's redemption. I should have won that one, so I'll win this one. I'll take a win, whatever. But yeah, our setup. We could really haul, but like I said, it got loose, so we tightened it up a bit. But man, I got to thank, like I told you guys before, I've had the Oculus Rift now since like November, and man, last week's race and this week's race, my goggles start fogging. I got glasses on too, and they're starting to fog up, and I'm like, it's like I'm in a rainstorm or something. But oh man,
That's crazy.
hell of a run, man! I finally got another victory this year. Get that Hungry Dragon to the front. Unfortunately, Kip couldn't be here. I don't know where Kip was, so I got to thank Kip again. In fact, I got to get a raise from Kip, but of course that's kind of a funny story too, because last year I was running the Army paint and I saw Kip running, and I was like, man, Kip seems like a nice guy. So I went to Kip and I go, Kip. I email him, go, hey, is it okay if I run your Hungry Dragon sauce barbecue and run it? And he was like, yeah, sure, man. So here I am doing it for free. He sent me a hat, or he's supposed to. He hasn't done that, but yeah, damn good sauce, and I'm glad I can run the Hungry Dragon and just have a blast with it, because it's like real life. You guys are like real life in the races. You guys do an awesome job off camera TV and the broadcast. It's just a thrill from 23 years of online racing to go back and watch the races, and it's just so exciting.
Well, Andrew, man, we love your enthusiasm. We love watching you drive. You are one of the most electrifying drivers on the track week in and week out, and we love having you. Thanks for coming up in the booth. We'll see you next week, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So where are we at next week? I don't even know, but
New Hampshire.
Hampshire. Oh, I love New
Hampshire.
Hampshire. There's a good track that runs like a road course too. But yeah, so again, I'll see you guys hopefully in the interview booth again. So great, thanks, guys. See you next week.
All right, big thank you to Andrew Williams, bringing it on home in first for the first time this season. Always a bridesmaid, finally a bride, able to bring it on home. Congratulations to him. Looking forward to seeing him and all the other drivers in New Hampshire. And I think my final thoughts for tonight are fairly simple. Wow, that was an incredible race. A lot of green flag runs. That's exactly what we like to see in this series. Able to come through on that. A nice field. A lot of competitive drivers throughout, but really that ending was fantastic. And I kind of wish it would have been the last lap. But besides that, the fantastic race. And big shout out to Andrew Williams, Brett Johnson, and Carl Burke, our top 3 finishers.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I have never once been a fan of the cookie cutters, especially Chicagoland or California. But tonight, great racing all the way around. Andrew Williams pulling off the win with the bump on Mark Wall's fantastic run. Trenton Barrington, oh my gosh, what a great run. It's sad to finish up 15th. So much excitement happened out through this entire race. Some really good side-by-side racing. Just had a great time with the whole thing. So my hat's off to the whole crew of the organization for the Northwest Truck Series.
Yeah, and definitely want to give a big shout out to race sponsor City Vineyard. Again, you can go check them out at cityvineyardwine.com or on the Facebooks at facebook.com/City Vineyard Wines. Great race. I mean, like I said earlier, it was amazing racing all across the field. I love Chicagoland. It's one of my favorite tracks on the service, and it always puts on a good show. Next week, we are in New Hampshire at the same time, midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific time. And then the week after is Las Vegas. So hopefully people gamble right, because that is the Chase cutoff. So we only have 2 more races into the Chase. Ryan May's having a bad night tonight. It's going to put him pretty far down there, but Brian Barnes not being here, he's going to have a lot of ground to make up. So tune in next week, next Thursday night, and find out what's going to happen with the Chase. So for Donovan Johns, Katie Reed, Tony Knuckles on the producer chair tonight, and myself, Wes the Mess, we are OCTV. and we would like to thank y'all for watching.